Hi Mixtresses and Mixters, this is Mixtress Ray. You're watching Mixtress video. I'm going to do a quick, I think it's going to be quick. Obviously you can see how long the video is, but I think it's going to be, these are rather simple messages here with these three piles. We're going to do a pick a pile reading for today. For whenever you see this, but I'm recording it April 27th, 2020. So this reading specifically is for, we're going to light a candle in perfect love and perfect trust. And we're lighting it in a salt lamp today. I'm just keeping the setup really simple. So we've called in fire. I'm going to call in water with some Drusilla spray. Of course, we've got earth with the three. I do kind of want to put some oil on my hands, though. What do we want today? Let's go with Voodoo today. Voodoo is a Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab scent that is, it's got a lot of different things in it. Like, I don't even know what they all the scents are in it, but it's very, there are a lot of different like spiritual calling in, a lot of ceremonial scents in that particular. It's too strong to wear as a perfume for me personally, but I do like rubbing it on my hands for like ritual purposes like this. I did forget to get out incense. I can't not have incense. So you're not going to see it today because it's out of the shot, but that's okay. You guys don't really care, do you? So today the intention is to call us out of, like, whenever we really get in a funk, especially like during these quarantines, when we get in a funk and we start getting depressed. This is kind of, this reading is just a simple reading of how you can change your energy when you're in that space of just maybe a little bit of hopelessness, just kind of frustration and feeling cooped up, or feeling like, we're just waiting and waiting and waiting because we're really in sort of a hanged man / tower moment collectively, just like the entire world, where we just have to wait it out. And sometimes I feel peaceful waiting it out, but sometimes I just get really cranky. And just, so you guys know, I'm actually personally in this cranky space. So I'm doing this reading not only to help you, because you might be in the same space, but also to help myself. I haven't decided. I have looked at these cards beforehand this time, and I did take some notes. I haven't decided which one of these piles relates to me specifically, but we'll see. So this is, I'm choosing it based on deck like I usually do. So you can choose based on which stone you're drawn to, which deck you're drawn to, or just, take some deep breaths and try to look beyond whether you personally identify with the stone or the deck. And, if you're drawn to the Ankh symbol, maybe you want to pick that one. If you're drawn to pink, maybe you want to pick that one. You could go monochromatic, black and white, versus pink versus green. You could go smoky quartz versus, I don't even know what this stone is. Probably some kind of agate. This beautiful little purple situation. And this is fire agate here, this heartstone. So take a moment, take a few deep breaths, and choose your pile. So let's start with pile one. Actually, have enough room today. Since it's a simpler reading, there's only 6 cards for each of these piles. I can actually just like move these other cards out of the way, I think. Yeah, you can kind of see them, but it's not bad. Okay. So if you picked pile 1, we are going to put your little smoky quartz right here. And we're going to set your tarot cards out first. In fact, I might even like just push it up as far as I can in the shot here, so I can make sure I get all your cards. And I pulled, basically for each one of these piles, you get 3 tarot cards. You get 1 goddess, 1 animal spirit, and then a general like keyword from the Vintage Wisdom Oracle, like I usually do, to kind of focus the reading. I might as well just like bring everybody out front and center. She's gonna have to be kind of over here a little bit. I can't actually, okay, this is bugging me. I can't actually be symmetrical with this reading. Oh well, that's okay. So my it's really interesting that we got Caradwin here with the keywords of death and rebirth. And we have the bat, which if you read the guidebook for Kim Cran's Animal Spirit Oracle deck, bat is about death and rebirth. You know, she mentions that if you're feeling out of balance, having a hard time accepting change and moving on to the next phase, then something that will help you is watching the sunrise. So I think it's interesting that we have themes of, you know, we've got the phases of the moon here. We've got the moon in the background here with the light and the dark. We've got that same motif here with the light and the dark. And then we've got the sun here. So it's very simple what I wrote down here. I just wrote down, go outside by yourself, change your perspective, somewhere you feel free, watch the sunrise. So basically my entire message for pile 1 is, this reading just in general is all about changing your viewpoint when you're in a funk. And for you, I think it's going to be pretty simple. Like, it's going to take a day. Like, all of these motifs of like moon and sun and the cycles here shows me that like this particular cycle for you, this moment of funk that you might find yourself in right now, is going to resolve itself relatively quickly, like within the course of a day or two. It's a cycle for you. Something to pay attention to is just reminding yourself of whatever your current patterns of being in a funk at the moment are. You know, like maybe it would be beneficial to you to remind yourself, like, okay, when was the last time I was doing this like funk thing? Oh, it was a month ago, and I'm at that same point in my cycle right now. Okay, well, how long did it take me to get out of it then? What did I do to pull myself out of it then? But this is just kind of saying that your general advice is to do something on your own, defend yourself in the way that is needed for you. And it seemed to be a pretty simple message of just like, literally, go outside. Like, for me, what I was thinking about, because this is something that helps me, is like going to a cemetery. And the idea that I was thinking of is like, if you can find a way, if you are in a space right now, if you live in a place where this is possible for you to go outside by yourself, somewhere where people are less likely to be, such as a cemetery. That's why I thought of that, because people people don't congregate in cemeteries where I live anyway very often. So usually if I go there, I am completely at peace. And also just like the recurring motifs of like the bat symbolizing death and rebirth, Carriage being about death and rebirth, the sun and the moon. It's like everything is a cycle. So you even could take it literally of like, hey, go hang out with the dead. Go outside somewhere by yourself. And while you're there, allow your mind to wander, and you may come up with literally a plan to pull yourself out of your funk. You may come up with a new idea of something that you can do to entertain yourself or bring something back to your community. Spending that moment alone. And the sun, that tells me that, like, it really literally could be go out and let the sun hit your face for a little bit, even if all you can do is go sit on a cramped balcony in your apartment building for a few minutes. I used to live in an apartment. I keep being reminded of this, so maybe this relates to somebody watching this. It was like a studio apartment, and it did have a balcony, but the balcony was just big enough that you could fit 2 camping chairs. And your knees were going to be touching the other person's knees, but it was just big enough that you could fit 2 chairs out there. But it was nice. You got to take, unfortunately, a lot of people are finding themselves in very cramped, unfortunate circumstances right now. And you really can't get your energy moving as much as you would like, which is what this whole reading is about. So for you, I really think you need to connect with whatever you personally, what works for you, that lets your mind truly wander. It's about setting your mind free, because we've got the bird here, we've got the bat here, we've got the Ace of Swords. To me, this says what you really need to do is change your perspective in a way that makes your mind feel free to roam. And once your mind roams, it'll find its own path as to where to go next. You'll get that great spark of an idea of what you need right now. You have to feel a sense of freedom, even if that's, a very small thing. Like I said, going to a cemetery, or maybe just going for a walk, or sitting out on your balcony. It's somewhere where your mind can feel like it's not confined and it can go to a different place. I think this might be the reading that's meant for me, just personally. All right, guys. I hope that's helpful for you. I keep forgetting. I want to start kind of putting this over in the corner or something. Shameless self-promotion, because I do still have all of my readings are 50% off. For as long as I'm kind of in quarantines myself personally before I go back to work, I still want to do that. So I will keep extending the sale for as long as I am home every day, because I have more time to do the reading. So basically, for a half-hour reading, it's $12.50, and for an hour, it's $20. So I'm just going to keep that over in the corner throughout. I'll probably just start putting it in my videos, just in general, just as just an easy way for you guys to find my Etsy shop if you do want a reading from me. Okay, let's talk about pile number 2. So this reading, again, is about simple ways to change your perspective and your energy, and kind of jolt yourself out of a funk whenever you find yourself in that space of just feeling hopeless and cranky, and, like a lot of us are having that problem right now, So each person gets 3 tarot cards. This is from I just got this, the vintage university books version of the Rider-Waite-Smith. Not sure exactly how I feel about it. I really like that it doesn't have copyrights and that the colors are really bright, but the quality of the deck is not great. But hey, it happens. Okay. So, and I also pulled an animal spirit card and a goddess card for each person. Actually, just like move these down. Put her up here. So your goddess is Lilith, and her keyword is power. And then I also pulled a vintage wisdom card just to kind of give us a keyword. So your, let me flip to your thing here. The little notes that I took for you guys. I did consult the guidebook for the animal spirit cards because I just wanted to, like, I was giving myself a little bit extra. Normally I just pull the cards right in front of you guys and then I just go with my intuitive hits on each thing. But today I decided to consult the Oracle guidebooks a little bit just to kind of see if anything stood out to me. And with Buffalo, while reading the description of Buffalo's energy, which was very like, this is earth element buffalo, the energy is very much grounded and trusting. So like the general thought was that the buffalo trusts the road ahead and the road behind. The buffalo just moves along at a steady pace, trusting each part of the process. So I thought that was a pretty cool message, and it reminded me of a Fiona Apple lyric from Extraordinary Machine that came out, the album that came out in 2005. And the lyric is, "Be kind to me or treat me mean. I'll make the most of it. I'm an extraordinary machine. The road just rolls out behind me." Okay, I'm getting it all mixed up. "I still only travel by foot, and by foot it's a slow climb." Okay, that's a different song. But the general idea, it's totally, I'm blanking on it, even though it's one of my favorite songs of all time, because that's just like where my mind is right now. It's totally all over the place. But the essentially the idea is, I just keep going. The road just rolls out behind me. I just keep going. You know, it's walking slow, just putting one foot in front of the other. It's a steady movement. So putting this one together, it's just, these are all simple messages today, but your message is about putting something out there with intention. It's about, for you personally, if you're trying to pull yourself out of a funk, I think it's going to be related to a creative project for you, whether that is creating some art or making some food or whatever it is. It's going to be something with intention. You're going to be like taking your specific witchy power that you have and putting it out there. So if you have like an Instagram or a YouTube or any of those things where you're connecting to people right now and you're putting something out there, this is just a gentle reminder that like that is what is doing that work. Doing that creative work is what's going to pull you out of this funk. And showing the Ace of Wands here in your reading tells me that it might even be a new thing. It might be like a creative project that you've been wanting to try, but you haven't actually tried it yet. And the act of doing that is going to kind of like quell the monster within, you know, being able to transform your energy of being in a funk or being sad or feeling hopeless. If you can focus it with intention into a creative project, you'll be able to subvert this sort of devil energy, and you'll be able to like take control of your inner beast and let the road fall out behind you. Just trust that this is going to be a steady climb and it's going to take a long time, but just keep putting in the work. This is kind of a sort of a daily reminder thing. Like every day, just do that thing, do that creative thing. Take it one step at a time. Put one foot in front of the other. Just it's a get grounded message, really. The buffalo is the card that I think is the most important in your reading, because it's about really digging your toes in and letting yourself feel the process. Because whatever it is, that creative project that you're doing or that you're about to start doing is a process. Learning strength is a process. And whenever you get the devil card, to me, that's kind of it's kind of a message that you are pointed in the right direction right now. And so your inner saboteur, as RuPaul would call it, is getting up in your face and trying to fuck it up for you. So there's a certain level of you got to ignore that inner saboteur so that you can do your creative things with intention and assert your own power, because you are more powerful than this devil that's trying to get you to fall into. I would say that this reading is mostly for like creative individuals that right now they're hitting walls. Like maybe you were really like putting stuff out there, doing a lot of art and getting shit done the first couple weeks you were in quarantines, but now you're like tired and you're starting to fizzle or something. Yeah, I think there's like a creative block that you might be feeling right now. And this is just a gentle reminder that, every day is just a day. The road's going to keep rolling out behind you, whether you did something productive with that day or not. It doesn't, in the long run, you can let this day fall away. You can take it one step at a time, because that creative thing will change your energy. But some days in a good way and some days not so much. This kind of feels like a nonsensical reading, this one right here, but even just the fact that I forgot the lyrics to one of my favorite songs. It is the same song. It's not a different song. The road just rolls out behind me. Be kind to me and treat me mean. I make the most of it. I'm an extraordinary machine. Sorry. Let's move on to pile 3. So pile 3 is using that 90s tarot. And you have 3, it's basically just a simple 6-card reading. So we have 3 cards from the tarot, 1 animal spirit, 1 goddess card, and then 1 vintage wisdom, sort of like keyword card that we can, let's just pull that one first actually. Yours is centering. So these are all pretty simple messages today, like I keep saying in the other readings, but just in case you're only tuning into your portion. So these readings are all to support kind of whenever you find yourself in a funk and you're feeling depressed or cooped up or just frustrated and cranky. This is like a simple way to change your energy in the course of a day. So for you, the message is extremely like what I wrote was just feel everything, see everything, celebrate everything. Your entire belief structure is changing. So the Page of Cups is always an indicator to me that This is somebody that feels all emotions. She's very empathic. She takes on all the things, the happiness, the sadness. She feels everything. I mentioned Fiona Apple in the last pile, and I want to mention her again here, actually, from the opening track on her last album, Idler Wheel. I always think of this lyric whenever I think of the Page of Cups, which is, the lyric is just, I just want to feel everything. I just want to feel everything. And that is the message. For you personally, like, it's almost like not really, wasn't really getting clear advice on what you should do to change your energy. It's more like, let yourself feel it. Let yourself feel. Your message is wallow. Center yourself in the wallowing. I would almost say that your advice could be, take a bath. Let yourself really explore all the different feelings that you're having right now. Wallow in the sadness. Eat some ice cream. Like, allow yourself to feel it, because these things do naturally take their course. The hawk is all about, the hawk can see incredible detail. The hawk can get above everything. They can see the full picture. So I feel like for you personally, you can see an end to this situation that we all find ourselves in. Like, you have been an incredible optimist a lot of this time, but every once in a while you do have moments of really feeling the sadness, the collective sadness. And sometimes it's good to take, most of the time it's good to take steps to protect yourself from other people's negative emotions, that, especially if you're an empathic person like the Page of Cups, and most of the people choosing this pile, I think, are, most of the time it is a good idea for you to protect yourself. And right now, but there are other times where, to keep yourself an empathic, sensitive person, you do have to let yourself feel it. You have to be able to acknowledge what you're feeling. So you may be like completely inundated with all of the collective feelings that people are having right now, all the fear, all the sadness, all the grief. And you might personally be dealing with a loss right now. And it could be something that's completely unrelated to the moment that we're in spring of 2020. It could just be that you just got out of a relationship right before quarantine started, or you just lost. I mean, this Coatlicue myth is all about losing her daughter. So you could have literally lost a daughter. So whatever it is, wherever you find yourself right now, I think letting yourself feel the grief and sadness is what's going to transform you. Because your entire structure of, you might be like, the Hierophant being here kind of tells me that maybe even you're going through a change in spirituality. Like, did you just make a huge shift in your literal belief system? Like, did you go from going to church to deciding that maybe isn't for you anymore? I feel like you're going through a big change, and you're still feeling the waves of grief and sadness because of this change. But you're learning to feel it and let it transform you, because I feel like you're already here, or you're going to be there soon. I feel like you're to the point where, like, all of this grief and sadness and the changes and the emotions that you're going through, you're in a pattern right now of centering yourself. And once you get to that point of feeling centered, whether that's like finding a new way to express your spirituality. I think that's a big part of it. Um, Once you learn how to integrate the grief and sadness and all the different things that you're feeling right now, you're going to be able to celebrate them in a way. Like, yeah, I feel like there's a definite like transformation of grief happening for you right now. And I don't have any specific advice for pile three. I think for you, it's all about allowing yourself to be where you are and wallow a little bit. And if you're already doing that and you felt guilty for doing that, I would say take away that guilt because it's part of the process. Um, where you are is where you are emotionally is totally normal for what you're going through. I think is the big message. Like, it's okay to be where you are. If what you feel like doing right now is taking a bath and listening to The Cure, like, that's okay. If you want to eat that pint of ice cream that you've been saving for an important occasion, this is the occasion. This Four of Wands right there is saying this is the time. It's time to do it. If you haven't allowed yourself to give over to all of the emotions, this is the time. I think this is a message for a lot of you, is that you are in a stable enough place at this moment that you can allow yourself to deal with some of the things that you've been putting off. Like whatever emotions surrounding the changes and the grief and sadness that are going on in your life that you've been telling yourself you're not ready to deal with yet. You're in a space right now where you are ready. And it's okay to feel all the things because you have gotten to a place of perspective already. Like, you're already flying high above all of this and you're able to see it for what it is. So you have a good perspective and you are in a better place right now to allow yourself to feel all the things. Okay, so those are my like simple little messages for everyone right now to help us all kind of come out of our funk. I hope that was somewhat helpful to you guys. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.